as a college and career center specialist at Douglas County High School. So I get to be with high schoolers all the time during the school day. Love my job, love helping kids. Literally had a kid come in my office yesterday and hug me, and he was coming to order a transcript from last school year, and he was like, "Miss Pinky, I'm only in college right now because you helped me get there. That's the only reason." So I love, love, love my job. I'm married. I have two daughters. I have a daughter who is at her senior year in college and one that is starting her freshman year in college. So love being able to have two daughters. However, I'm very sad that they're both at college right now. It's very difficult when all of a sudden the kids aren't there with you every day. I am only 5'2", so when I started, I weighed myself the first time when we very first started, and was 260 pounds. So I was like, okay, this is where I'm starting from, and I'm only 5'2". So I'm like, this is gonna be difficult. I signed up to do Shibboleth the very end of October, like October 31st, like probably at like 11 p.m. that night, because they were running a special at the time and I was afraid I would miss out. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it in October, before the end of October. And then I was like, yeah, but I don't know that I'm really ready to start it yet. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna start yet. And then the holidays were coming, so I was like, well, maybe after the holidays, then I'll start doing it. And then my friend Nikki, that's how I started doing Shibboleth. I had seen her post, and we went to high school together. So I saw her stuff, and I was like, well, she's done great on it. I'm gonna do it. So in January, she did a meeting where she brought a bunch of food from her house, her pantry, and took stuff from her fridge and brought it all to a meeting. And I saw what she ate, and I was like, oh, I could probably do that. So this was January, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna get it to where I can do this. I'm gonna at least try. But I didn't really want to tell anybody I was doing it at first, because I thought, what if I don't do well at this? I don't know if I really want everybody to know that I'm doing it. So I quietly started at first, which after people know me, I'm not very quiet very long. And I'm very open book kind of person. So you can always ask me anything and I'll tell you. I know a lot of people are very shy and quiet about stuff, but I'm not that kind of person. If you ask me anything, I'll tell you whatever. But I decided at that meeting that day that I could do this. We started on January the 23rd, and that first week was rough. Like, really. I was used to eating fast food constantly, 2 meals a day, run through. Yes, I want the large fry. Yes, add a cookie on there. Would you like a milkshake today? Sure, I'll have a milkshake. So it had got to that point. And honestly, when I was by myself, it was like, okay, I could just run through and get a large order of fries. Fries is like my weakness thing. And whenever I have a holiday, I have French fries, no matter what. It doesn't matter what I'm having for my meals that day. I go through and get some French fries whenever I have a holiday. So I decided that I was going to do this, and I was going to do it quietly at first. That first week was very rough. I went and bought a ton of pickles. I'm a very picky eater, so I was afraid there was going to be things that I wasn't going to like. But I went and got dill pickles. I love dill pickles. So I was like, oh, I can do that. I can eat dill pickles. They're freebies. I can eat them whenever I'm hungry. So did that. The first couple weeks, we would buy like the huge jars. And every time I would go to the store, we'd get like 2 jars of pickles every time I went. So we were having a lot of pickles there in the beginning. But then after that first week, I was like, this isn't really that bad. I can do it. 3 meals a day. I can have a snack a day. Probably the first 3 to 4 weeks that doing Shibboleth, I had Halo Top ice cream as a snack every single night. I had half a container of Halo Top every single night. And it was probably about three 3 or 4 weeks that we were doing that. And I mean, like at 10 p.m. at night, every night. Because I was like, I've had my 3 meals. Now I can save my snack and I can have Halo Top. Now, that very first week, I lost 6 pounds. And I thought, what? I mean, I know I was hungry during the day, and I had a lot of pickles and stuff during that time, but I ate Halo Top ice cream every single night, and I lost 6 pounds that first week. I thought, okay, maybe it's just a fluke. We'll keep trying and see what happens. So continued for a while doing that. Every week there for the first few weeks, I lost like 3 to 5 pounds, almost every single week. And I was like, oh goodness, this is really, really happening. And like I said, I work in a school, so people at school were noticing some. She works at the school with me too. So people at school were noticing, but it wasn't that dramatic until we came back from summer break because they hadn't seen me for 2 months. And my principal called me up and he said, Pinky, when I asked for if anybody was new here, why didn't you stand up? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you are a totally new person. Things had changed a lot, obviously, during that amount of time of losing weight, during that 2-month time period. I didn't start off exercising at all. The first 6 months that I did Shibboleth, did not exercise at all. About when summer hit, since I do work in a school, I'm like, well, I've been paying for a membership for years. I should do that. I should go, especially during the summer. So I started going about 3 days a week just to get on the treadmill, not to do really anything except the treadmill. So I started getting on the treadmill, and I went, in my mind, as fast as I could go. It wasn't very fast on there. And like I said, this was 6 months in, so I'd lost, I think, 70-something pounds at that point. 76 pounds, I think, at that point. So I was like, I'm going to be okay. I can do this. But I was on the treadmill. It was at 2.0. And that was as fast as I could ever go, I thought, in my mind. So I did 3 days a week for a while during the summer. And then there was a few days that I was like, I'm having fun doing this. I think I want to do 2 hours. So I started doing 2 hours sometimes. Not all the time. When I had time, I would go ahead and do 2 hours worth. But if I didn't have time, I would just get an hour in and I was fine. I was happy that I got that hour in. So I did that for a few weeks. Then I was like, I think I could go a little bit faster. I'm just going to move it up a little bit faster. So then I got to the 2.3, and then I was like, well, I could probably go to 2.5. So now I'm doing 3.0 or 3.3 as the fastest I've gone on there now. But I don't go as much to the gym as I would like to. I'm a bad workaholic, bad workaholic. I get to work, I'm one of the first people there every day, and I'm the last car that leaves almost every single day. I set an alarm this year to tell myself that I'm going to leave by 5 o'clock. School gets out at 3:40, and I tell myself at the latest I'm going to leave at 5. Well, I haven't left at 5 yet. I'm still saying till like 6 or 7 every day, but I'm trying to get myself better and leaving earlier to try to take care of myself and go to the gym and do things like that for myself. But you know, a lot of people are like, yeah, but you must go to the gym all the time. So I'm like, no, I really don't. Like, that is not at all, like the first 6 months didn't at all, and now I only go like 3 days a week. However, if I ever have a holiday now, I always get at least 20,000 steps in that next day, because I'm going to get to that efficient fat burning immediately. So if you get 20,000 steps in the day after a holiday, you get to efficient fat burning the very next day. So I always, no matter what happens, I'm like, okay, if I have a holiday, then I have to get 20,000 steps in. So whatever's going to make it happen, I'm going to have to do that to be able to get those steps in. As a matter of fact, my birthday was this past Sunday, and had a holiday Saturday and Sunday this past weekend. And then Monday, I was like, oh, I'm so tired. We were out of school on Monday and Tuesday, and I was like, and I really going to go do all that? I'm like, of course I'm going to. Like, I told myself I'm going to. So I went to the gym, and I ended up getting on the treadmill for 3 hours that day and got over 22,000 something steps that day in, because I get to watching TV on there, and I'm like, I got this. I might as well stay and do it. So whenever I had a holiday before, I would do a WOW challenge. So you would get to efficient fat burning one day faster. But then I was like, oh, I saw the thing that Travis had done, that you can get 20,000 steps in and go to it the very next day. I was like, that's so much better than it takes 3 days to get to efficient fat burning again. So from that point on, have done that. Now, in the beginning, I had 3 meals every day, and I would have a snack almost every single day. I got to the point a few months in, I was like, well, I don't really need a snack every day. I don't really need this today. I just want to have it, so I'm not going to have the snack. So occasionally I would not do the snack. Well, then I started watching the videos that Travis did about intermittent fasting. And then I've never been a person, I love breakfast and I love breakfast foods, but I don't ever want to eat when I first wake up. So in my mind, I was like, well, and like I said, I'm a bad workaholic. So I'd get to work, I'd start working. It would be like 10 o'clock. I'm like, I hadn't had breakfast yet. Oh, well, whatever. So when I was doing Shibboleth, I was like, well, it's close enough to lunchtime now. I might as well just wait. So I didn't realize how long I've been doing intermittent fasting till I went back and looked at my calendar. But I've been doing an intermittent fast every single day since early May. And I didn't even realize that I'd been doing it for that long. Like I said, I think it was May 5th is when I went back to see. Even on holidays now, we still do an intermittent fast, because my body's used to not having food now until lunchtime. So I don't, like today I've had 32 ounces of water already, and then part of my second one, which I always have 2 water bottles with me at all times. They are always filled at all times. I started off drinking 64 ounces a day, and but I've always been a big water drinker, so I wasn't too worried about that. So that's 2 of those containers. Well, then I was like, I got that. That's no big deal. I can add another container in, because 64 wasn't anything after a short amount of time. So then I had 3 containers a day. And I always have 2 containers with me. They look very similar, but the lids are different, so I know where I'm at. So I always start off and I'll drink 1. And then I'm like, okay, my second one is this one. So that way I can keep count of how many I've had. And then I'll go back to this one each time, so I can keep count of how many I had. Well, it got to the point where I was easily getting the 3 in. So I'm like, if I could get 3 in, I could certainly get 4 in. 4 of them is a gallon. So I was like, I could get a gallon in. So then I got to the point where I started getting a gallon every day. Well, now I have about 1.5 gallons every single day. And I don't even think about it anymore. Like, my mouth right now is so dry because of talking, and realize that it's been probably 30 minutes since I've had some water, but I'm so used to drinking water all the time now and having it with me at all times. I keep water bottles in my trunk all the time, so if I'm somewhere that doesn't have a place to refill them, I just put more water in from that. I see everybody get water bottles out now. Look, it's a good time. Let's all have a sip real quick, because I'm thirsty too. Like I said, my mouth is getting super dry. But I've now lost over 105 pounds, which floors me to even say it. When I look at pictures, I can't believe that it was me. Katie had posted these pictures of her progress month by month, and her and I actually started the exact same day. We joke about it a lot, that we're the same. We're twins for Shibboleth. But she started, our start day was the exact same day, but she did so good. She took pictures of herself and progress and all that. I hated taking full body shots of me. So I did not do it. And I'm glad I at least took measurements, because I didn't want to take measurements, but I thought, well, I mean, nobody's going to know my measurements. Nobody's going to see them. I will put them on a piece of paper. No one will know, so it's fine. So I did measurements in the beginning, and I took my measurements when I lost 100 pounds, when I first hit that 100-pound mark. When I lost that 100 pounds, I did measurements again. At that point, I'd lost 74.5 inches.
Wow.
Crazy. When you look at how big that amount of space is, 74 and a half inches. I just couldn't believe it. And weight-wise, when I look at those pictures and then I see that amount, I say all the time I need to go to the grocery store and get 2 of those 50-pound bags of dog food and try to carry both of those and see, because I can't imagine the difference that would feel like to lose that 105 pounds. And I would have never, if anybody told me in January, come October, you'll be 105 pounds less, I would have never ever believed them. I set a goal for myself for 1 year to lose 110 pounds. So I have 5 more pounds to go to my goal. So January the 23rd will be 1 year that I've been on it. I set a goal of 150 to weigh at that time. Not looking at the chart, that was just in my head. 150, that sounds like a good weight to be. So I'll try to get to 150. So in 5 more pounds, I'll be at that 150. But then I looked at the weight loss chart, and then I was like, oh, I got to get smaller. Like, I've got to at least get to the top of that. Well, if I lose 20 more pounds past that 5, I'll then be at the top of where it says I should be at 5'2". So I'm like, at the top on mine, I think it says at 131. And so in my mind, I'm like, if I could get to 130, then I'll be at the top of that range. But y'all, if I get to 130, that will literally be half of me. Literally half. Because I started at 260. I can't even fathom what that would be like. I started off wearing size 20 or 22 jeans, and I bought these this week for my birthday. I got these, and they are a size 10. A size 10 petite, like crazy. In my mind, I remember going to the store and thinking, man, if I could ever get in those 14s, God, I would be so happy if I could just wear those 14s again. And when I went to try on pants, I don't know if any of y'all have done Shibboleth for a while, but when you go, I have no idea what size I wear anymore, like at all when I go somewhere. I look at clothes, I hold them up, I'm like, I don't know. So I have to try on like 50 million things every time I go somewhere. And I don't want to buy stuff. I really struggle with that because I don't know what size I'm going to be. So everybody will say to me, aren't you so excited you can buy all these new clothes? I'm like, no. I'm not, because literally I bought a pair of capri pants in July. I bought them in July. They were tight, but I could wear them. Not comfortably. I didn't want to wear them out because I could get them on, but they were tight. I bought those in July. In June, they fit perfect. By August, they were too big. I couldn't even wear them. I'm like, how crazy is that in June they were too tight for me to wear out in public, and then by August they're too loose for me to wear, like even with the belt on they were baggy. So it really floors me how much weight you can lose and how easy it is on Shibboleth. I would have never ever thought it could be this easy. And one thing that makes me crazy, so like I said before, I work at a school. What I did is I told everybody there, if anybody wants to come, I'll stay every single Monday. Like I said before, I stay late all the time anyways. I'll stay every Monday and just dedicate that day for Shibboleth stuff. So if anybody at the school wants to come ask me questions, they can come ask questions. If anybody joins, we'll have a meeting. I did a spreadsheet with everybody's start date. One of the things I ask everybody is, are you in it 100%? Because it makes me crazy when people will say to me, Pinky, I'm doing it, but I'm not losing weight like you are. I'm like, are you doing it 100%? Are you doing all the stuff it says? No. I like to test the waters. I like to do all that. I'm like, well, that's why. Because, and Shibboleth is so easy that if you just do it, you're going to lose the weight. Like, honestly, it's funny. Even my friend here, she said to me, she said, Pinky, there's no way I could eat what you're eating and lose weight. She's like, I've cut out bread. I've cut out all this stuff. There's absolutely no way that I could do it. And I was like, I guarantee you, I mean, honestly, I felt that convinced about it. I'm like, I guarantee you're going to lose weight if you eat what I'm eating. Like, it's going to happen. So she did it the first week and then lost weight. And she was like, oh, it really does work. Like, I really can. She was testing the waters too. She was like, I'm going to have, what did you have, French toast and all kinds of stuff like that.
I stopped eating carbs for more than 2 years. So I thought that was not going to work. I said, no, I'm going to gain weight with that system, definitely. But I said, I'm going to try it for 1 week. I told her, and I tried for a week, and I lost 5 pounds on the first week, and I was in shock. I was so happy because I was eating normal before, again.
Yeah, eat normal foods again. And see, that's one of the things, too, that people ask all the time. They're like, yeah, but what do you eat? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I eat normal foods. Like, when we go to a restaurant, there's something I can order on every menu anymore. Like, at first I was nervous about it, and a lot of my friends at the school, they were like, I'm not taking tortillas in. I don't care what you say. I ain't taking tortillas in. But I take tortillas in from day one. Like I said before, I'm not a very shy kind of person. So I was like, I'm taking my tortillas in. I don't care what anybody says. I'm bringing them. So I would sit down, I'd put everything in a tortilla and just eat it. But a lot of my friends were like, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking it in. Well, now all of them are taking tortillas in and not caring and doing that every time they go somewhere. They're like, yeah, it's really not that big a deal to take tortillas when you go somewhere to eat. But let's see. Do y'all have any questions for me right now? I was trying to think. I wanted to make sure I brought up a bunch of different points. We do meet at my school once a week. And I try to help everybody that has questions during that time. I'll show like a couple videos from time to time. And we just sort of ask questions, talk about favorite recipes and things like that. Things that we've liked and didn't like, and things that worked and didn't work for us and stuff. I love doing that though, doing that once a week. That's like one of my favorite things. I love to be able to help people. Like, I have 3 friends of mine who are new doing Shibboleth that all are coming this coming Monday because they're like, oh, I want to learn now. I want to get started doing it. But then I have friends at the school who've signed up and they're not doing it yet. But I understand that because, like I said, I signed up in October and I didn't really even start until the end of January. But I got to the point that I was like, it's time. I got to do something. So at that point, I was like, I've got to at least get this started and see what happens. But I feel this way in every aspect of my life, really. I feel like that God gives everybody something that they're really good at. You know, everybody has their gifts. My kid's pediatrician. I've trusted her with my life, with my kids. If she told me my kids should have this immunization, I'm like, okay, you've gone to school for this. You've learned. I will trust you to do this. That's totally how I feel about Shibboleth. They figured it out. They know what things we can have. They understand if you mix this with this, you're going to lose weight. So we don't even have to think about it. Like, we don't have to worry, oh, well, should I have this? Or what if I had this with that? You don't even have to worry about it. It's literally on your phone at your fingertips at all times. Wherever you are, you can look and see, oh, yeah, I could have that. But there's the people that'll say, yeah, but I had that, but then I decided I wanted this with it. I'm like, well, you just have to count that as a holiday then. They're like, no, I was good. I just had a small amount of it. I'm like, yeah, but you're having a holiday. Like Travis always says, if you lick the cheese off a Dorito, it's a holiday. Mm-hmm. I'm totally that person. Mm-hmm. I'm a major rule follower, and if somebody says you can only have this, then that's exactly what I have. I bought a food scale, cheap one at Walmart. I think it was like $10 and they say you can have 4 ounces. If I measure out something and it says 4.05, I cut off a little bit of it and I put it to the side because I'm like, no, I'm having 4 ounces. That's what it says I'm supposed to have. And I measure every little thing out just to be, precise and to make sure I'm doing exactly what they say and do. One of the things too, I'm so ADD. I'm like rambling and doing all that. But one of the things too that watching Jason and Travis do the videos, when people say, yeah, but I really want this. I really want, this. I'm like, then have it. I mean, you can have stuff 6 times in a month. Like, you can say, oh, I really want my grandma's mac and cheese. Okay, good. You should have that mac and cheese any of those 6 days. My principal at my school, he said I could never do it because I like bacon. I need bacon all the time. I'm like, well, I eat turkey bacon, I eat chicken bacon. He's like, no, I want real bacon. Well, I saw somebody posted one day about the private selection from Kroger. I'm like, yeah, that's real bacon. You can have that. So I texted him, I said, just so you know, you could have bacon, real bacon, every single day, up to 4 slices a meal. I said, that is a dozen pieces of bacon every single day, and you could still lose weight if you want to do it. It's crazy to me when you look at it like that. You can see, oh, I really could have these things and still lose weight. When I go to a restaurant now, I'll look at things that I used to order, and I'm like, ooh, that looks so good. And I'm like, but you know what? If I got the grilled chicken and if I got the salad, I could put my grilled chicken on the salad. Like I said, I'm a picky eater, so it's usually just lettuce on my salad anyways. And then I use the McCormick Salad Supreme sprinkled stuff. Most time it's a freebie. And I put that on my salad lots of times because it is a freebie and it's very, very good. Lots of people are like, it's going to be so dry. I'm like, I promise if you try it, you'll end up liking it. But I keep it in my go bag. I have it with me at all times, along with at least 2 tortillas at all times. I have Quest bars in there in case I'm somewhere and feel like I don't want to have whatever somebody else is having. But when I watch Travis and Jason do the videos about your meals, and they do this chart where they'll show, you're happy, you're having this food for breakfast, and it's a waffle like from Waffle House, you're so excited and you're having that. But then as soon as you eat it, you're like, I don't feel so good. And then you're down, again. And then you're like, okay, but I really wanted that McDonald's cheeseburger and french fries for lunch. So then you're like, oh, I'm going to get excited and I'm going to have this french fries and stuff. And then you're down again. And it keeps going, that same cycle. But if you go somewhere and you're like, oh, I love Waffle House. You know what? If you had never had the grilled chicken at Waffle House, it's amazing there. By the way, if I had the grilled chicken and I brought my tortilla, it would be so yummy. And I would be burning fat at the same time. I would lose weight, and it's so yummy. So then I'd feel good then I'd feel good later. So I'm like, oh, I'll do that instead. And then even like McDonald's, you can get a hamburger from McDonald's. Just take the bread off, put your own bread on it. I mean, yes, you got to skip your fries that day unless you want to make it a holiday. And that's another thing about holidays. So I started off in my mind that I was going to have these grandiose holidays. I'm having this for breakfast, this for lunch, this for dinner. I'm having this major snack. Don't do that. Trust me, it's not a good idea. Like, you'll get so sick if you do that. It's not fun. But if you, now what I do is I will usually have one meal. I'll have a challah meal instead of a holiday. And I'm usually fine if I do that. My birthday weekend, I had 2 challah meals on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. And I'll be honest, it was a little rough. I was not feeling so great both of those days at the end of the day. We were out of town part of that time. So I was like, we're eating at places that we can't eat at home even. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to have that. It's going to be fine. I'll make it through. But I have to mentally prepare myself for holidays now. I don't like holidays. I don't like to take them really. A lot of people are like, oh no, I'm taking my 6 no matter what. but it's a mental game for me. Like sometimes I'll say, I'm gonna have a holiday. I'm gonna have a holiday this Saturday, and I plan it out, and I'm gonna have this holiday. And then Saturday comes, I'm like, I don't really wanna have a holiday. I'm like, I could eat the stuff that I like, that's very yummy, still lose weight, and feel good, or I could have what I think in my mind that I want. I'm not gonna feel good later, and I'm not gonna lose weight. So then I'm like, that's crazy. Why would anybody choose that over that? Like when you're looking at those two options and stuff. But anyways, I feel like I keep rambling, and holy moly, it is after 11 and I'm still talking. Do y'all have any questions for me? Can y'all think of anything? I wanted this to be more interactive, and now I keep talking.
Yeah, please
Maybe I
ask.
can help with a couple
Yes.
of things that help us very much from Pinky at school is that yes, I was gonna say you should take that off because she looks so skinny.
Oh,
here.
you're sweet. I was getting
And-
hot.
No, she looks so tiny.
Thank
Like-
you.
But one of the things that help us so much is the things that she likes to eat. Because I would have never thought about it. I would have never looked in the app. You know, that helped us a lot. And then the second time that something from her impressed me is that lately, in order to get to her goal, or after her goal, I believe, you started doing a WOW challenge almost 4 days in a row or
Yes.
so. And we were amazed by the WOW challenges and how they are structured. You know, I don't know if everybody knows about it, but when she talked about the Halo Top ice cream challenge and everything, and you know what, I'm gonna come and buy the pancake mix to do that. I'm gonna try that. I have never done one, but
I love doing
you
the
know.
WOW challenges. When I first did a WOW challenge, I did the Mighty Muffin one, and that's one of my favorite ones still. The Mighty Muffin WOW one, where you have a Mighty Muffin for breakfast, a Mighty Muffin for lunch, and then for dinner, a category 1 and a category 2 together. I love that one. On that one, you can have snacks, and that's literally the only one I've ever seen you can have snacks on. But you can have cucumbers and apple cider vinegar with salt and pepper. I don't like cucumbers. I don't like apple cider vinegar. So I would skip the snack part anyways on that one. And since May, and I've been doing the IMFs every day, I don't have whatever, when I'm doing a WOW challenge, I don't even have the breakfast one. So like if I do a Mighty Muffin challenge now, I have a Mighty Muffin for lunch, and then I have a category 1 and 2 for dinner that day. So I just skip one of the choices on the WOW challenges. The WOW challenges are very, very specific. You have to do exactly what they say on the WOW challenges, but you can omit things. You can't add anything, but you can take away. So if you don't want to have one of the extra meals, you don't have to have that extra meal during that time. One of the other things I've done from early on is I really, really look at the weight loss meter. I have bought the ingredients to make the chicken pot pie, and I keep not cooking it because it's a -1 on there. I know that's so crazy, but because I'm like, do I really
Make it.
I know, but I'm like, it's a -1, and I could have these other yummy things that are a -2 or a -3, like the cheeseburger pie. I don't know if y'all make it, but like it's become a weekly thing in our house now. We have the cheeseburger pie once a week. And it's a category, it's a 2 on the weight loss meter, and it's so yummy. Like, how could you not want to eat that? So, that's definitely one I do all the time. But the weight loss meter thing from day one, I definitely focus on that. Like, a lot of people will have loaf bread that's the 35 or the 45 calorie loaf bread, and those are usually higher on the weight loss thing. Lower, I guess, depending on how you look at the meter. But I always use the Olay Extreme Wraps because I'm like, that's a -3 if I have that on it instead. Occasionally we'll make a grilled cheese or something with the regular bread, but that's pretty much it. Everything else, I'm like, no, I'll put it on that instead. I'll have it on the tortilla because it's more on the weight loss meter.
Yeah, y'all have any questions? Please ask. Because she's here to share her knowledge with us and everything.
I was gonna say, why don't you show the stuff from your basket? So
Oh,
that-
yeah. Yeah, let me grab my basket real quick. I'll show y'all some of the stuff that I buy while I'm here. Let me grab